Honey told me he wanted to hike the Devil's Ridge. I've binged 300 episodes of Mystery Garden. I know exactly how dangerous the Devil's Ridge is. As the dragon's spine of China, it's only 40 kilometers as the crow flies, but the actual hike is over 170 kilometers. And it's on a high plateau, so altitude sickness is a real risk. The weather is unpredictable. You can experience all 4 seasons in one day. Cases of death from hypothermia are everywhere. It's basically a restricted area. I did everything I could to stop Liam. I showed him all the accident reports I'd found. I begged him for days, trying to reason with him, but he frowned, pushed my hand away impatiently. What do you know? It's a company retreat. Mia said, we'll be fine if we just pay the fine. Why can't you be more sensible? Mia, my best friend, the one I trusted completely, and also Liam's secretary, pretended to side with him too. But her words were dripping with sarcasm. Emma, you're just too timid. The Devil's Ridge isn't that scary. Liam and I are going together. We'll have each other's backs. Stop holding Liam back. I didn't give up. I kept trying to persuade him every single day, even when they ganged up on me, calling me a coward and petty. Finally, I had a meltdown and stopped Liam by insisting we celebrate our anniversary. But Mia still went alone. In the end, Mia got caught in a blizzard on the Devil's Ridge. She died of hypothermia. When Liam heard the news, he didn't say a word. Instead, he comforted me, saying it was lucky I'd stopped him. I thought that was the end of it. But I didn't realize it was just the start of the nightmare. On our 5th wedding anniversary, Liam asked me to go hiking. At a deserted cliff edge, the hatred in his eyes was impossible to hide. Emma, if you hadn't stopped me, Mia wouldn't have died. That's when I realized Liam had been having an affair with Mia all along. To accompany Mia on that adventure, they conspired to deceive me under the guise of a company retreat. Before I could defend myself, he reached out and pushed me off. I felt the fall. The last thing I saw was his cold back as he turned away. Later, my parents reported me missing. All they found were a pile of bones gnawed by wild animals. And my dowry? He had secretly embezzled it all. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day Liam told me he was going to hike the Devil's Ridge. Honey, the company is doing an outdoor team building thing, hiking across the Devil's Ridge. I might not be able to be with you for our anniversary. Disgust and hatred surged inside me. I pushed it down. I reached out and took his hand. I put on a sweet smile. It's okay. The team building is for the company, after all. Go ahead. Just be careful. Liam was taken aback. A flicker of surprise crossed his eyes. He probably hadn't expected me to be so understanding. He let his guard down quickly and hugged me. He comforted me half-heartedly. You're so understanding. When I get back from the retreat, I'll buy you your favorite cake. I leaned into him. I could smell the perfume on his collar, the one Mia always wore. Nausea hit me. I forced myself not to show it. I just patted his back. This time around, I won't stop them. I won't be the fool who tries so hard for nothing. In the evening, I was sitting on the sofa watching the news. On New Year's Day, 5 people went missing after unauthorized hiking on the Devil's Ridge. Their families called the police and requested rescue. After 2 days of searching, rescuers found 3 dead, 2 survivors. Suddenly, a message popped up on chatter. It was from Mia. I didn't need to guess. She was testing me. The message was long, pretending to care. Emma, did Liam tell you about the company retreat? Don't be mad. Liam has no choice. It's not like he meant to miss your anniversary. Then she sent another one. Barely hiding her smugness, this retreat is mainly to drive traffic to the company. A lot of people are going. It's totally safe. Don't worry about Liam. I stared at the screen, sneering inwardly. My fingers flew across the screen as I pretended to reply, still with a gentle tone. I'm not mad, okay? I know you're doing this for work. Go ahead, don't worry about me. I paused, then added another line. Playing along, Mia, go with Liam. Take good care of him for me. I'm just a little worried about him going alone. And within minutes of sending the message, Mia replied. The smugness and eagerness were impossible to hide. Don't worry, Emma. I'll definitely take good care of Liam. Don't you worry. We'll come back safe and sound. I'll show you the retreat photos then, okay? I stared at her message. The coldness in my eyes deepened. I barely slept a wink all night. One thought consumed me. I had to secure my escape. Liam and Mia going there? They're dead for sure. I can't just stand by and watch. I need to secure my own future. I was up at first light. I dug out the insurance contact I'd saved. I called them straight away. I told the agent what I wanted. I wanted to buy $1 million accident policy for Liam. The agent asked why. I said flatly, I'm planning to increase coverage for everyone in the family this year. My husband travels a lot for work, and he's always doing outdoor stuff. He's higher risk, so an extra policy gives me peace of mind, I said. And I put myself down as the beneficiary without a second thought. Everything was done by the book. I made sure the agent came to our place. Liam had to sign the documents himself, so there'd be no trouble down the line. That afternoon, Liam came home from work. The agent showed up right on time. I handed him the policy and laid it out. He glanced at it and burst out laughing. "Emma, aren't you being a little dramatic?" He pointed at the policy, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "It's just a team-building hike. It's not like I'm going through hell or high water. What could go wrong? What a waste of money." I put on an injured look. I tugged his arm, saying, "I'm just worried, honey. Extra coverage gives extra peace of mind, and it's not that expensive. Besides, I got one for myself, and you're the beneficiary," I said, but he just frowned, impatient and grumbling. But he kept signing. He grabbed the pen and signed his name with a flourish. Then he tossed the policy to the side. He didn't even bother to read the terms or check the amount. He never imagined that this insurance he thought was a waste of money would be the key to getting me out of this mess and starting fresh. Watching him blow it off, I sneered to myself. This so-called waste of money would soon pay off. Once I got the insurance, I started planning my next move. Mia's younger brother, Leo, also works at Liam's company. He's a procurement assistant. That guy's got sticky fingers. For a long time, under the guise of procurement, he's been embezzling small purchase payments from the company. He never takes much, but he never stops. And Mia, as Liam's secretary, has always known and secretly helps him hide it. With her covering for him, Liam is kept in the dark. Or maybe he knows, but just doesn't care. This time around, I have to make good use of it. The company retreat equipment procurement is the perfect chance. That evening, Liam came home, plopped on the couch, and started scrolling his phone. I brought a glass of water and sat next to him. Pretending to make small talk, I said, "Honey, you need a lot of equipment for the company retreat, right? Procurement must be a pain." Without looking up, he casually replied, "It's okay, just have the staff handle it." I went on, "Mia's brother Leo is a procurement assistant. He's usually pretty meticulous. Why not let him handle the procurement? It'll give him more experience and save you some trouble. You don't have to handle everything yourself." Liam paused, set down his phone, and thought for a moment. He thought I had a point and said, "Okay, let him handle it. Save me the headache." I knew Mia would definitely whisper in his ear. Sure enough, soon after, Liam got a message from Mia. After reading it, he smiled and said to me, "Mia also thinks Leo is suitable." He immediately texted Leo, confirming he'd be in charge of the retreat equipment procurement. Watching his unsuspecting demeanor, a chill flashed in my eyes. Leo's greedy, he'll definitely buy cheap equipment. And that's exactly what I want. After Liam confirmed that Leo would purchase the company retreat equipment, I knew the show was about to begin. That Leo guy's greed. I'd heard about it in my past life, but it was too late then to take advantage of it. Later, I learned from Liam that he'd given Leo $14,000 for the equipment and repeatedly told him to buy practical, professional hiking gear. After all, we're going into the mountains. Safety first. But I know Leo too well. He'd never take Liam's instructions seriously. Sure enough, after Leo got the job, he was already over the moon, his mind full of how to skim a profit. The money saved would fund his fun and games. He never even went to a proper outdoor store to check the gear. Instead, he just opened, went straight to it, phone, and went directly for the cheap, clearance equipment, like a $5 synthetic sleeping bag and a $6 park tent that were clearly not waterproof. And that so-called satellite phone was clearly a modified old Nokia. It's worth about $14. Besides that, he also bought cheap, non-windproof jackets, and even the compressed biscuits were expired. After the purchase, Leo faked a huge expense report and pocketed all the leftover money. He never considered the dangers of the Devil's Ridge. Leo's busy grabbing the gear, and Mia's not sitting around either. She's been hounding Leo on chatter to hurry up. She even bragged to Liam, saying she'd handle all the food and emergency supplies, telling him not to worry. But I saw from her timeline and chat history clear as day that she wasn't even thinking about emergency supplies. She was too busy prepping for her live stream and selfies. She bought a bunch of down jackets that aren't even waterproof, and one of those influencer sun hats. Skincare and makeup? She packed a whole bag full. She even bought a ring light and a selfie stick, all for the stream's aesthetic. But not a single pair of real hiking boots. She just threw on some cute but flimsy sneakers. She naively told Liam, "Just pay the $5,000 fine, and the Devil's Ridge will be as safe as a regular hike." And that night, I saw the message she sent to Liam. Her tone was smug. "Liam, I've got everything ready. This live stream's gonna go viral. The company bigwigs will notice me. Then I can always be by your side. Anyone can see she's not doing this for work. She's clearly using this live stream to go viral and steal my spot." I looked through her gear selfies and felt nothing. I just watched, cold and detached. The more careless and vain she acts, the harder she'll fall, and that's exactly what I want. The night before departure, Liam came home very late. He had a tired look on his face. It was obvious he'd just met with Mia. They were planning the itinerary for the mountain trip. Back in my past life, I would have stupidly asked where he'd been, only to be met with his impatience and blame. This time, I didn't ask. I just acted all caring. I got up, poured him a glass of hot water, and handed it over. Honey, you must be tired. Busy with a company retreat? He took the glass and mumbled a reply. His eyes darted away, unable to meet mine. I went along with him. I pretended to remind him. We're heading out tomorrow. Stay safe and stick with the group. Don't go off on your own. If you need more gear, just call me and I'll send it over, I said, turning to grab one of my heavy coats. Handing it to him. It's different in the mountains. It might get cold at night, so take this to keep warm. While he snatched the coat impatiently and threw it onto the couch. He brushed it off. Fine, fine. Stop nagging. I'm not a kid and can take care of myself. While his mind was full of the plans with Mia for the next day. He didn't notice the coldness in my eyes at all. I watched his dismissive attitude and laughed to myself. This fake concern was never really for him. It was only so that later, when something happened, I could prove my innocence and let everyone see that I'd done my duty as a wife. Early on the day of departure, just after dawn, Liam got up and packed in a hurry. Afraid of being late for his date with Mia, he told me the company retreat had an early assembly. He had to hurry. I pretended to be sweet and saw him to the door. Told him to be careful. Watched him drive away. But I knew, deep down, he wasn't going to the company meeting at all. He was going with Mia. Sneaking off to the unauthorized trailhead at Pineville on the Devil's Ridge, I went back to the living room and opened my phone. Clicked on Mia's streaming account unsurprisingly. She had already started a live stream. Company retreat title was especially eye-catching. Pay a $5,000 fine to pass. Building a live stream. Conquering the Devil's Ridge. 20 Li Shi Tong Bai. Already signed back. Just started streaming not long ago. 6 return element. 20. Li Nan attracted 16 return episode. 20. Viewers don't be abnormal. Attracted many viewers. Li Nan, little dude. Mia faced the camera. Return episode. Say something. Pretending to be a professional hiker. Okay. Say something. Pretending to be a professional hiker. She talked endlessly about the beauty of the Devil's Ridge. Okay. And kept bragging about how well prepared she was. Liam sat in the passenger seat, playing along, pretending to be colleagues, occasionally interacting with her. Couldn't help it. But the flirting in their eyes was impossible to hide. A viewer asked in the live chat, why are there only 2 of them? Mia casually made an excuse. Said the others would arrive soon. I followed their every move, watching them drive step by step toward Pineville, toward the dead end that would bury them. Sunlight streamed through the window onto me, but I felt no warmth. Only a profound calm. The show was just beginning. I'm glued to my phone, watching Mia's live stream. They've made it into the mountains. The first part's smooth, the sun's perfect, and the weather's crystal clear. It looks totally harmless. Comments and likes goofing off in front of the camera and posing for selfies. Mia's holding up her phone, chattering nonstop. Just sharing our company retreat with you guys. Liam. Really? Liam. But Mia, really, what are you up to? She's totally hinting she has a thing with Liam. Look, Liam is so good to me. He knows I can't carry my bag, so he's been holding it for me the whole time. She leans in close to Liam, her voice all sweet and syrupy, acting all coy. Mia, so cute, in front of everyone. She still takes a shot at me, unlike some people, who are too scared to even go hiking. Mia, don't be reckless. She just stays home worrying about nothing all day. She can't keep up with Liam at all. Mia, Xingxua says, hilarious. Liam didn't argue back. Oh my god, I'm dead. Instead, he smiles and helps her fix her hair. He takes the initiative to film her. The tenderness in his eyes, I've never seen that from him. He completely forgets that he's a married man. Forgets there's a wife at home waiting for him to take her to the prenatal appointment. In the live stream, many viewers leave comments warning them. The Devil's Ridge is off limits for unauthorized hiking. Yosapan 32, very dangerous. But Mia couldn't care less. 189, dangerous. She rolls her eyes and retorts, you guys are just cowards. Lots of people come here to check it out. Just pay the $700 fine and it's all good, don't worry. I'm watching this circus, my blood running cold. Based on memories from my past life, I know for sure this calm is only temporary. A massive storm is coming, right on schedule. I kept watching the live stream, occasionally taking screenshots of their interactions and Mia's smug look. All of these will be evidence to prove my innocence and expose their lies. Memories of my past life flooded back. I remember it all. In one day, thick fog will roll in on the Devil's Ridge. Then comes a massive blizzard. Altitude sickness will get worse, and the cheap equipment Leo bought won't be able to protect them from these risks. Then, the live stream cut out. Soon after, the house phone rang. It was Liam calling. He was using that fake satellite phone. It barely worked. Emma, everything's fine on my end. Don't worry. Take care of yourself. His tone was so fake, it was sickening. I pretended to be hurt and understanding. I softened my voice. Honey, I got it. You have to stay safe. Don't push yourself. Call me if anything happens. I never said a word about the weather changes or the potential danger. I wasn't about to warn him. The live stream kept going until the next afternoon. Liam and Mia were already over 2,000 meters up. In the video, Mia was clearly off. Pale face, blue lips, stumbling. Even her voice was out of breath. Clearly, she had altitude sickness. Liam isn't much better either, brows furrowed. He's breathing a bit fast, but his symptoms are milder than Mia's. Viewers quickly noticed something wrong. 10:23, east, south, west, Haomei. Your lips are turning purple. Danger. The streamer's so pretty. That's altitude sickness. Stop and rest now. Don't force it. Altitude sickness is dangerous. Turn back right now. But Mia, for the live stream effect, forced herself to stay calm. Forcing a smile. It's nothing, it's nothing. Forcing another smile. It's nothing, it's nothing. Just a little tired. Young people can tough it out. This is nothing. It doesn't matter. Liam chimed in from the side. He patted his chest and said he was fine. Liam also took Mia's hand, urging her to keep going. Come on. Let's go. Let's get to Camp 9000 to check in. Otherwise, it'll be too late after dark. They didn't take altitude sickness seriously at all, nor did they pay attention to the viewers' warnings. I smirked coldly at the screen. Little did they know, this seemingly minor altitude sickness was just the beginning of all the danger. In the evening, the live stream screen suddenly became blurry. The previously clear weather suddenly changed without warning. Thick fog swept in from all directions. Visibility instantly dropped to less than 5 meters. The wind in the mountains picked up. The camera shook constantly, and the temperature began to plummet. Liam and Mia totally freaked out. Their laughter and joking were gone. They stopped dead and looked around. But there was nothing but white. They couldn't even see the trail ahead. Mia's voice grew panicky. She spoke into the camera, almost in tears. Where did this fog come from? I can't see the path. Someone tell me what to do. Liam, I'm so scared. Liam was panicking too, his palms sweating. But he tried to stay cool. He held Mia's hand tightly. He moved forward on instinct. Don't panic. Follow me. We'll find the camp. Slowly. We'll be fine. But the more they walked, the more they panicked and tripped. Mia's floral down jacket wasn't waterproof, and it got soaked and dirty from the mud and snow. It clung to her skin. She lost all warmth and shivered uncontrollably. The fog lasted all night. I stayed glued to my phone, watching them on the live stream. Mia, oh my god, it's freezing. Liam, hang on. Things were getting worse. The temperature in the mountains dropped to 14 degrees. The wind howled fiercely. You could hear the wind howling in the camera. Liam and Mia huddled behind a large rock. They were shivering all over, teeth chattering. Liam couldn't take the cold anymore. He suddenly remembered the gear Leo bought. He quickly grabbed his backpack. He pulled out the tent and sleeping bag, hoping to set them up for warmth. But as soon as he unfolded the tent, I knew it instantly. It was a cheap park tent. It was thin as paper, completely useless against wind and water. Liam struggled to set up the tent. As soon as he let go, it got blown all over by the wind. The tent fabric bulged and got soaked with fog. It was completely unusable. Then, he pulled out the sleeping bag. It was cold and damp to the touch. Cheap synthetic cotton. Clearly not warm enough. Mia saw it and flew into a rage. She screamed at Liam. Liam, what kind of crap equipment did you have Leo buy? Is this tent even usable? Does this sleeping bag keep you warm? Or are you trying to kill me? Liam was also fuming, but he held back and tried to calm her down. Stop yelling. Now's not the time to lose your temper. How dare Leo buy this junk? I'll deal with him later, but I could see the regret in his eyes. He regretted listening to me. He let Leo handle the purchasing. The wind grew stronger, and the temperature kept dropping. Liam and Mia were freezing, almost losing consciousness. Their lips turned purple, their bodies stiff. I knew that if this continued, they would soon develop hypothermia. By then, it would be too late to save them. Mia panicked completely. Her arrogance was gone. She threw herself into Liam's arms. She sobbed uncontrollably. Liam, I'm so cold. I don't want to die. What do we do? I regret this. I shouldn't have come. Liam was also too cold to move, so he just held her. They huddled close together. They tried to keep warm with each other's body heat. At that moment, they no longer had to hide. They completely tore off the mask of colleagues and best friends, and the dependence and desire in their eyes were unmistakable. Mia's live stream never stopped. Viewers saw this scene clearly. The live chat exploded instantly. Some called them shameless cheaters. Some worried about their safety, urging them to call for help. I remained expressionless, my fingers swiping. I saved screenshots of each scene. These images are hard proof of their betrayal. No matter what happens later, they can prove my innocence and ruin their reputation. On the morning of the third day, the mountain fog not only didn't clear, but a heavy blizzard started. Snowflakes flew everywhere, instantly turning the mountains white. The temperature plummeted to -20 degrees. Snow soon covered their ankles. It was hard even to walk. Liam and Mia were trapped in place, in the middle of nowhere. They could neither go forward nor go back. Their clothes were already soaked by snow, clinging tightly to their bodies, completely losing their insulation. Their hands and feet began to show signs of frostbite. Turning red and purple, they couldn't even move them. Mia's altitude sickness worsened, making her dizzy and lightheaded. She leaned against Liam. She was too weak to speak, and her eyes began to glaze over. Liam was also in bad shape, breathing heavily. He was pale, but still struggled to look after Mia. He pulled out the lighter he carried, trying to find wood to make a fire to keep warm. But the lighter was a cheap one. It wasn't windproof at all, and with the heavy snow, a gust of wind would extinguish the flame. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't light a single piece of wood. The live stream equipment, due to the cold and water, became completely unusable, forcing the stream to stop. They completely lost contact with the outside world. The two watched the blizzard swirling. Their eyes were full of fear. All color drained from their faces. At that moment, they finally realized they might actually die here. I looked at the disconnected live stream. I felt absolutely nothing. Stuck with no way out, they pinned all their hopes on that so-called satellite phone, thinking if they could just make a call, they'd be rescued and escape this hell. Liam frantically yanked the device from his backpack. His hands were shaking from the cold, and he couldn't get it to work. He pressed the buttons for ages, but the screen stayed dark. Mia, growing impatient, snatched it out of his hands. She took one look and burst into tears. "What the hell is this piece of crap?" She screamed hysterically and threw the device into the snow. "This isn't a satellite phone at all. It's an old Nokia with an antenna, and water got in so it won't even turn on. What kind of garbage did Leo buy?" Her voice was full of resentment. Resentment at Leo for buying cheap equipment to save money, and even more at herself for her own vanity, for insisting on tackling that treacherous Devil's Ridge and backing herself into a corner. Liam stared at the old Nokia in the snow and felt completely defeated. His legs gave out, and he collapsed into the snow. His eyes went blank as the blizzard raged. For the first time, he felt regret. Regret for betraying me. Regret for listening to Mia. But by then, it was too late. They had no way to call for help now. All they could do was struggle through the frozen wasteland and wait for death. The massive blizzard lasted a whole day and night. The supplies Liam and Mia brought were completely exhausted. A few packs of expired compressed biscuits were eaten long ago. The bottled water they carried froze into ice. Totally undrinkable. Starving and freezing, they grew weaker. The skincare and makeup Mia brought were soaked by snow long ago. Ruined and useless. The selfie stick and fill light were blown away by the wind. Gone forever. The two who once hugged tightly and relied on each other now had no warmth left. Started blaming and arguing endlessly. Mia leaned against a rock. She cursed weakly. "It's all your fault. Liam, you're so unreliable. You insisted on having Leo buy cheap equipment and brought me to this place. You've ruined me." Liam, angered by her words, couldn't help retorting, "My fault? If you weren't so vain and greedy, insisting on coming here to live stream for traffic, forcing us to hike the Devil's Ridge, would I have come? Would I be trapped in this predicament? You brought this on yourself." They argued fiercely, airing each other's dirty laundry, becoming bitter enemies, taking all their resentment out on each other. They had long forgotten who agreed in a heartbeat, who ignored the danger, and insisted on unauthorized hiking on the Devil's Ridge. The arguing gradually subsided, and they fell into dead silence. Only the howling wind echoed through the mountains. Liam stared at Mia's weak, dazed appearance. After a long silence, a cruel thought took root in his heart, abandoning Mia, descending the mountain alone to survive. Liam knew in his heart that dragging Mia along as dead weight would only slow him down. Forget making it down the mountain, he probably wouldn't even survive the night. Going alone was his only chance. That night, the wind and snow eased up a little. Mia was freezing, barely awake. Her face was ghostly pale, and she was barely breathing. Liam quietly sat up. Careful not to wake her, he fumbled around and packed the last bit of biscuit, and the only tent that could barely keep out the wind and snow. He moved quietly, but still woke Mia. "Liam, where are you going?" Her voice was hoarse, trembling with fear and pleading. "Please don't leave me. Take me with you. I'm begging you." Liam didn't look back, didn't answer. He hurried down the mountain, leaving Mia crying and begging in the snow, her voice swallowed by the wind. Mia looked at the empty space beside her and plunged into utter despair. She knew better than anyone that this time, she was as good as dead. After Liam left, Mia curled up alone in the snow. The cold wind cut through her like a knife. She was shivering, losing consciousness. Altitude sickness and hypothermia were getting worse by the minute. Her lips turned purple, her limbs stiffened, and she was barely able to move a finger. Fear and despair engulfed her. She wasn't ready to die. With her last ounce of strength, she cried and ran, desperately, searching for Liam, for any glimmer of hope. But the fog and blizzard wouldn't let up. She was hopelessly lost in the vast snowfield. She fell over and over, struggled back up each time, until she had no strength left and collapsed into the snow. Lying in the snow, many images flashed through her mind. Her parents, her vain, greedy life, how she betrayed me after all I did for her. The foolishness of insisting on hiking the Devil's Ridge. But it was too late. Soon after, severe hypothermia set in. Unconsciously, she stripped off her soaked clothes, with a faint, regretful smile playing on her lips. Then she collapsed in the snow and stopped breathing. After abandoning Mia, Liam headed down the mountain alone. He thought he'd finally shaken off the burden and made his escape. Little did he know, he'd walked into another dead end. He pulled a simple map from his backpack and studied it for a long time. Finally, he decided to head down the north slope to Echo Canyon. He thought the trail by the river was a shortcut, but he had no idea that this path was just accidentally left by a rock climber. It couldn't lead down the mountain at all. The cliffs by the river were insanely steep. The terrain was ridiculously complex. It was covered in thick snow and loose rocks. The ground was slippery and treacherous, every step a battle. One slip and he'd tumble off the cliff. Liam was already exhausted, hungry, and freezing cold. He hadn't gotten far before his legs gave out and everything went black. Just as he carefully shifted his feet, he slipped. He instantly lost his balance and plummeted down the steep cliff. With a scream, he slammed onto the rocks. He tried to get up, but felt unbearable pain in his legs. His legs were numb, they were broken. Desperate, he threw off his backpack, keeping only that small piece of compressed biscuit. He curled up under the cliff, letting the wind and snow batter him. He was completely trapped in a hopeless situation. At that moment, his heart was filled with despair and remorse. But no amount of regret could give him a second chance. He would pay for his betrayal and selfishness with his life. Liam broke both legs and was trapped under the cliff. He couldn't move, with nothing to keep warm. The mountain temperature dropped to tens below zero. His body was losing heat fast. Hypothermia was setting in fast. Lying in the freezing snow, he started losing consciousness. Then my face flashed through his mind how I begged him not to go to the Devil's Ridge. How I was always so good to him. Then he remembered his betrayal, his lies, the pain he put me through. Scenes from my past life came flashing before his eyes. He secretly stole my dowry to win Mia over. Because Mia died, he took all his anger out on me. He tricked me into hiking, then pushed me off the cliff himself. He watched wild animals devour my remains. Remorse consumed him. He pounded the ground, hard, weeping bitterly, knowing he couldn't take it back. He tried to call for help, but his voice came out hoarse and weak, completely drowned by the wind. No one answered his cries for help. Finally, Liam, too, developed severe hypothermia. He began taking off his clothes, unconscious. His body turned cold and stiff. He collapsed in the snow, no longer breathing. Like Mia, he met a tragic end on the Devil's Ridge. For everything he did, he paid the ultimate price. I waited at home the whole day, with no word from Liam or Mia. Putting together memories from my past life and their long-abandoned live stream, I was dead certain that those two betrayers were both dead, horribly. After I confirmed they were both dead, I didn't panic one bit. Instead, I was eerily calm. The hatred that had built up inside me finally started to ease. I took a deep breath, pulled myself together, and deliberately rubbed my eyes red, to look scared and heartbroken. I slowly dialed the police. As soon as the call connected, I put on a weepy voice and stammered, "Officer, please, help me. My husband Liam went hiking on the Devil's Ridge." I pretended to be panicked, crying and sobbing. "I know it's so dangerous there. I can't get a hold of him now. I have no idea where he is. Please, go save him." I also feigned anxiety and asked the police if they had any news about Liam, my voice full of worry and helplessness, successfully winning the officer's sympathy. The officer patiently comforted me, telling me not to worry and that they'd send a rescue team to search the mountain right away. After hanging up, I wiped my tears and took a deep breath. The hatred in my heart had mostly faded. This was only the first step. Next, I'd shake them off for good, lie for myself, and take back everything that was mine. Soon after I called the police, Liam's parents came rushing over. The moment they walked in, without even asking, they started screaming at me, their voices shrill and full of hate. "Emma, you witch? Why didn't you stop Liam from going to the Devil's Ridge? You killed my son." I just stood there, watching Liam's parents expressionlessly. I didn't argue, didn't fight back. They wouldn't hear a word. They just wanted to vent, pouring all their grief and anger right onto me. Even worse, They even dragged a bunch of reporters to surround my house. Cameras and mics were all pointed at me. Liam's mom faced the camera, sobbing and whining, twisting the truth on purpose. Members of the press, you've gotta help us. This woman knew my son was heading to the treacherous Devil's Ridge, but she deliberately didn't stop him. She wanted him dead, clear as day. She even leaked the affair between Liam and Mia on purpose. Her tone was full of insinuations, as if I did it out of revenge, and intentionally let them die. I knew deep down that they had long known about Liam and Mia's relationship, but always enabled him, and now that their son was dead, they refused to take responsibility. They just wanted to put all the blame on me and make me the scapegoat. Liam's parents kept sobbing and accusing me in front of the media. Mia's parents also stormed over. When they heard their daughter died on the Devil's Ridge, they were devastated. Eyes swollen red, face pale. The moment they spotted Liam's parents, they charged at them, completely losing it. You'll pay for my daughter. Mrs. Smith grabs Mrs. Davis's arm, crying and shouting, my daughter went on the company retreat with your son. You need to pay for the funeral and our pain. Not 1 penny less. Liam's parents immediately break free. Faces grim, they retort, pay for what? Your daughter was the vain and greedy one. She just had to hike that dangerous Devil's Ridge. She brought it upon herself. What's that got to do with our son? The two families are at each other's throats, faces red, trading accusations and curses. They end up in a full-on brawl, grabbing and tearing at each other. The media swarm around, snapping photos, filming, pressing for answers nonstop. Total chaos. Nosy neighbors crowd around too, jeering and gossiping. The parents are tearing into each other even harder. Media surround them, fueling the chaos. It spirals completely out of control. I take a deep breath and step slowly into the crowd. My voice is calm, but it carries undeniable authority. It instantly silences the chaos. Members of the press and everyone, let me clarify a few things. I say calmly. I pull the evidence from my bag. The equipment for Liam's company retreat wasn't bought by me. Mia's brother, Leo, handled it. With that, I pulled out my phone, opened Leo's purchase records and transfer receipts, and showed them to everyone, saying, take a look, these are Leo's purchase records, all cheap equipment, and here are the receipts showing he padded the expenses, which is all solid evidence. Seeing this, Liam's parents, still refusing to give up, pointed at me with an ugly expression and snapped, stop twisting things. You took out a huge life insurance policy on Liam and you're the beneficiary. So you clearly planned all along to kill Henry and commit insurance fraud. Hearing this, I couldn't help but snort coldly. I took out Liam's insurance policy, his signed confirmation documents, and my own insurance records, and said calmly, I bought Liam an insurance policy just to give him extra protection, as I was planning to add coverage for the whole family this year, and since Liam travels a lot for work and is always doing outdoor activities, putting him at higher risk than us, I was worried about his safety, which is why I got him this policy. And pointing to the signature on the policy, I added, this insurance was signed and confirmed by Liam himself, so he knew about it. Then I pulled up my own insurance records and showed them, saying, besides, I bought the exact same policy for myself with the same coverage. If I really planned to kill Liam for the payout, why would I buy one for myself too? Which made my words logical and clear, completely dispelling everyone's doubts. The media's stance gradually shifted, and they started questioning Liam and Mia's actions, as well as Liam's parents' unreasonable accusations. Liam's parents turned pale, unable to utter another word of accusation. All the evidence I laid out finally exposed the real truth of this tragedy. The media and the crowd finally got it that Liam and Mia illegally hiked the Devil's Ridge on purpose. Comments and likes, Leo got greedy and bought cheap equipment, so when the storm hit, they couldn't survive and died. Everyone knows I was totally in the dark, completely innocent, from start to finish. I was just a betrayed and wronged woman. After learning the whole truth, Liam's parents lost all their arrogance. They collapsed to the ground, consumed by regret. They regretted letting Liam cheat, regretted not raising him right, regretted not stopping him from hiking the Devil's Ridge. But no matter how much regret, they couldn't bring their son back. Mia's parents also learned that it was their own son's greed for money that led him to buy cheap equipment, which indirectly killed their daughter. Rage instantly consumed them. They searched everywhere for Leo, and when they found him, they beat him up, screaming at him the whole time. The two sets of parents started tearing into each other, blaming and cursing each other, venting all their fury on one another. They fell out completely and left in a huff. The journalists got their footage and left too. The nosy neighbors slowly drifted away. This long-running farce finally came to an end, leaving only a mess. and endless regret for both families. After an investigation, the police finally issued a report, confirming that Liam and Mia had engaged in unauthorized hiking on the Devil's Ridge. Due to a severe blizzard, cheap equipment, and the inability to send a distress signal, cheap equipment, unable to send a distress signal, cheap equipment, unable to send, they both died of hypothermia. The report clearly stated that I had no responsibility. Soon after, the insurance payout came through, and the full $1 million was deposited into my bank account without a cent missing. This money was what I deserved. Compensation from Liam and Mia for betraying and hurting me, and also the confidence to start a new life. After receiving the payout, I didn't hesitate for a moment, and immediately started handling Liam's funeral arrangements. Throughout it all, I felt no sadness, shed no tears, just calmly contacted the funeral home, handled all the procedures, and got everything done methodically. After the funeral, I immediately contacted an agent and sold the house that Liam and I owned together, as well as some of his belongings and jewelry. I wanted to completely clear out everything related to Liam and Mia, and thoroughly break free from this marriage full of betrayal and hurt, and from all the entanglements and troubles. Watching the house transfer complete, watching all the things that didn't belong to me being taken away, my heart was calm, and the heavy weight in my heart finally fully lifted. After I sold the house and got all the money, I packed up without a second thought and left that city, full of painful memories. I went to a little town in the south I'd never been to. I started a whole new life for myself. I cut off the long hair I'd kept for years and got a fresh short haircut, like I was cutting away all the past and the pain. I quit my old job and used the severance pay to open a small flower shop on a street corner in that little town. It wasn't big, but it was cozy. Every day, I'd tend to the plants in the shop and welcome the customers coming and going. I'd chat with them a little. Life was calm and fulfilling. No more being bothered by betrayal and hurt. No more having to please anyone. No more walking on eggshells or settling for less. Finally, I could live for myself without a care in the world. In my spare time, I'd pack a bag and travel. I'd go see mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas. I'd soak up the vibe of different cities. I'd sit in the shop reading to reflect and grow. I'd hit the gym and keep fit, slowly healing the wounds from my past life. A smile I hadn't seen in a long time slowly crept onto my face. A smile from deep within, light and carefree. The grudges from my past life were long settled. In this life, I kept myself alive, made my own fortune, and got rid of all the bad luck. Sunlight streamed through the glass window of the flower shop, falling on me, warm and bright. I had finally found my own sunshine. For the rest of my life, I'd live free and easy, give it my all, and rush toward a brand new future, living as the person I love the most.